Off the Record is a show from 88.1 WKNC in which DJs talk with artists about everything from their music to upcoming tours to former bandmates' birthdays. Make sure to follow WKNC on SoundCloud and Tumblr so you never miss a beat. Enjoy.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy DJ Iron Mike, chilling on another beautiful local rap lunch. You know how we do every Thursday from noon to 1. Bring you nothing but the illest hip-hop coming out of North Carolina. I got a special guest in the building with me today. I got Madison Jay.
County.
What's good, man?
You already know what's going on with you, bro.
Thanks for coming up, bro. It's kind of been a long time coming.
It really has,
I've been
man.
doing this show for like a couple years, and you've been out here grinding for
but
a minute, man.
Everything in due time, though.
Exactly.
The timing is now, and we here.
Exactly. So you had pretty good week last week. You played at the NC State Fair.
Yeah. That was. I want to say and speak on that. That was just a grand opportunity right there, and the experience was just one of those things of like I'm never gonna forget that. It was so many moments wrapped up in one. Smashed the stage. Shouts out to Black Bouquet. Shouts out to P Mania. Shouts out to Zips. Shouts out to King Clash. We had a dope set. It was something rare at the fair. And honestly, I'm just looking forward to do something like that again. Just to be in the backyard and touch the people.
Yeah, man. I got to DJ for a showcase at the fair last year, and it's definitely like a different vibe than
it is
what we get at like the club shows.
And that was something when I can't lie. I stepped out on the stage and I said, oh man, this is definitely like not what I'm expecting.
It's the people. It's it's not like hip hop heads. It's the people.
But the thing was, at the aftermath, it was the complete opposite of what I thought it was going to be. The same people who I thought were not going to vibe and rock out, they were the people who vibed and rocked out the most.
Nice.
And, afterwards when I was chopping it up with everybody, they were very vocal about, hey, man, we enjoyed your set. We see the talent. We see what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. So stuff like that, man, it lets you know and puts in perspective of this is what we do this for, just to touch people and, change lives, especially those that you don't think you're going to change.
Yeah, absolutely. And so how was that experience? Because I'd say among this area's local rappers,
right?
You're one of the people who kind of puts themselves out there the most into different places.
Right.
You went out to South by on your own.
Right.
Last year you said you went out to A3C.
Right.
You put yourself into different areas, whereas a lot of people kind of to fit into a pocket and try to bloom from there. You've kind of just done your own thing. So, how does that fit? You did your state fair performance and all that. How does that fit into basically your strategy for yourself?
You gotta stretch yourself. As an artist, you gotta stretch yourself out and touch different areas and touch different spots. And I know with myself and my team, that's just the key for us is how we're going to thrive is to go out to different areas. Whether, it's in North Carolina, whether it's your Charlotte, whether it's your Columbia, South Carolina, your Florence, your Columbus, Georgia, Columbus, Georgia, Columbia, South Carolina, Florence, South Carolina, Tallahassee, Florida. These are spots that I'm stretching out and touching. And, at the end of the day, it comes back home to Raleigh. But you gotta always stretch yourself so that you never know what market you're gonna be able to touch. You never know what people you're gonna be able to touch. Yeah. And you can only do that when you're going to different, spots places that aren't your home and touch those people. So that way they're feeling the same way. You can be the hometown hero all you want, but when you bring that energy somewhere else, OT, and they feel like, oh, now we see why you're the guy in your spot because we see and feel that. So that's what it's all about, man. And at the end of the day, I got the city on my back, and I'm taking it and putting it into other areas, and that's just kind of what it boils down to.
Now, you mentioned Columbus, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
That city has a special place in my heart for me because it's the first place I ever lived outside of New York City.
Come on now.
It's where I went to basic training and stuff when I was in the Army.
Yeah,
so I got to get really ridiculous out there.
Yeah.
So how is it? I never really thought of Columbus, Georgia, as a hip hop city. Because I just saw my side of it and stuff. But
and the thing is we have to break out of, and I'm guilty of it too. We have to break out of the stigma. Again, like you said, it's not considered a hip hop city. Mm-hmm. We have to break out of the stigma. It's the music at the end of the day. So the music can touch, whether it's touching, a Raleigh, North Carolina, a Columbus, Georgia, a Pakistan, London, England. It's going to touch people regardless of the fact if it's just that quality, that bomb. People are going to, they're just going to get enamored by it. So when we go to certain spots and think that, they might not vibe with it, might not rock with it. Nah, they do. It's just they haven't got the light, quote unquote, put on them to be vocal about, hey, we got this over here. You know what I'm saying? The same way Raleigh and Raleigh-Durham has been trying to come up as a scene to let you know, like, yo, we got fire here. John Blaze. And they're just now starting to get the layers peeled back to see, like, oh, yeah, they really do have that fire. So, like, I just like, man, the unexpected spots like that. Shouts out to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. You know what I mean? That's a spot I'm about to touch very soon. Tulsa, you know what I mean? Just these spots, because there's people there that want to know and tap in and tune in to what, what artists have going on. Especially, like, getting out to other cities, you get to see how, like, how people consume hip-hop culture in different areas. And as I said, in, like, Columbus, when I came down from New York is, like, hip-hop is, like, just, like, ingrained in your DNA. Yeah, man, the Mecca. Like, you can't go anywhere without it being about hip-hop. Nowhere. White people, black people, Spanish people, everybody's about hip-hop. And, like, going down to Georgia, I noticed that, like, everything was still, like, in the South, it's so segregated. Right. You go to one part of town, that's where all the white people and all the GIs go to hang out and stuff. But then you got to go to the part of town where, like, where they all tell you not to go. Right. But I loved that part. You're in the strip clubs and, like, all that stuff is great. And, like, even, like, going up to other cities. Right. You've been to Austin and stuff, just seeing how other people consume hip-hop in Austin and stuff. So, how has that experience been for you since you get to travel? It's what I like about Austin, man, is that, mind you, it's like the live music capital of the United States, really probably of the world, man. Like, they just have, like, 6th Street maybe alone. Nashville. But Austin just give you like a plethora of joints. Yeah, Nashville mostly like country or whatever. But like, man, 6th Street's lit up with just different live venue spots. So, like, how can you literally not, like, it's like a buffet of music. Yeah, you know what I mean? And just the culture that's in Austin, and it's funny because on the build up landscape side, Raleigh has modeled itself after Austin, Texas. And, I've researched right up on because it's like it's basically trying to come up as that BC city that's also becoming a hub of, hey, there's a lot of culture here, there's a lot of things going on, business revenue is coming in, and you see the growth in Raleigh just off of following that Austin blueprint. But it's crazy because I literally see the same thing about to happen here. It's just about to be a place of where you're going to see live venues popping up everywhere, different spots to where all these people can come together, clash, get it in, and just start sharing the cultures out even more. But just to be able to take for me and my team to go out to different spots, man, you got to understand where we come from. And to go around and do this stuff, man, it's a beautiful opportunity. Yeah. And the thing is that we're just only getting started now, because I'm ready to go across the water. You know what I mean? I'm ready to go get some crumpets and some tea. I'm ready to, hit up Amsterdam. I'm ready to touch across the water now, man. Yeah, man. Overseas they look at our music so differently. Right. And I was offered a DJ gig in Berlin. I put out some reggaeton remixes that I made. I took like hard rap tracks and made some reggaeton remixes, and I got hit up by some promoter in Berlin to come out there, and I was like, yo, just Berlin, Germany. Yeah, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, nothing crazy, No, but it's just like the way, like, you always hear the story of like rapper in America who can't get anyone to come to his shows. Right. Not that that's like you or anything, but I'm just saying, like, you hear about that, like, Americans are so picky with the way we look at music and take in music, and then overseas they just like the raw feeling of it. I feel like a lot of the stuff that's happening here in North Carolina, we have that rawness. It's raw, which is Juice. It's just like there's so much raw talent out there. Just like, and when it's funny because you'll get certain artists, man, and we could take a handful of them just here. Certain looks not getting certain, whatever the case may be. You take these handful of cats and you take them across the water, across the pond, and we're talking about guys turning into superstars, because that's what they are. Yeah. But you're talking about and I understand that, mind you, coming up, you know, I'm like hip hop to the core. So I, you know, understanding about the touring and going overseas and just how, you know, Asia, Europe, just how they just gravitate towards hip hop, and how much they make American artists, you know, it'll be a certain artist we look at like, man, it's XYZ. You go over there, these dudes are selling out, touring, merch is going crazy. They're like gods over there.
Yeah.
And it's a different, it's funny because they're getting the same thing we're getting. It's just the eyes of what they see, you know, what through their eyes, they're looking at these dudes like, nah, they got a craft. And ladies as well, like, yo, they got a craft. They're, you know, fire with it. I'm supporting whatever they do. I'm going to go in the back catalog. I'm supporting that. They drop a new hoodie, I'm supporting that because I love what they do. And that just, again, it just boils down to doing what we do and loving what we do, because it just comes with being able to do things like that, just to go different places and touch different people. It's just beautiful at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's why we do it. Right?
Honestly,
you know?
That's why we do it, man.
For real.
Well, some of us at least.
So, I mean, let's bring it back a little bit.
All right.
So, you know, we kind of got a little specific there.
Right.
But there are a lot of people out there I haven't heard of you yet. So, you know, what makes Madison Jay Madison Jay?
I mean, for me, man, Madison Jay is just like, I'm gonna be real. I just purple fried chicken, man. You know what I mean? That's the best way to describe the kid. Purple fried chicken. And when you hear that, it's like, yo, what in the heck is purple fried chicken? That's exactly what Madison Jay, you got to like tap in and tune in and see what that is, because it's just like, you know, just the energy, man. I just represent energy that is just contagious, infectious, pure, and people gravitate towards that. Just me. At the end of the day, I'm a young man from Raleigh, North Carolina. I got a story, and I feel like, you know, that's a story that people want to hear from me. You know, I just been doing this thing for many moons, man, and I just feel like, literally, like the song says, my day to come is now. You know, I got the county thing going on. You know, that's just started out of here in Wake County, but at the end of the day, it's 100 counties strong. So, you know, North Carolina's 100 counties deep, but it just stretches out even beyond. It's everywhere's a county. So, you know, I'm just kind of representing that hometown hero, man, just letting you know, no matter where you come from, it can be done. And, you know, for those that don't know, you got to check the back catalog. Raps Like Wrestling, that's a movement that, you know, just basically created from out the mud, just letting people know, putting a spotlight on how, you know, the gimmickry that's going on in the game, and the, you know what I mean, all the shenanigans and stuff like that, and just how people are moving. I did that. I gave them Trapped in the 90s, 1 and 2. That was just basically going back to the, you know, one of the dopest eras that you know, the 90s, man. And I just touched a whole bunch of beats, put that out. That's classic, you know, that's a classic body of work. And then, of course, I hit him with Return to the Gap, which I classify as my debut album. And that was just something that I put together with a great team of producers. We touched on a lot of topics that I've never touched about in my music, just kind of like my upbringing as a kid, how I feel as a father, you know, how I feel in my position in the game. And right now we're getting ready to move forward to the next project. I mean, that'll be coming out very soon. So for those that don't know about Madison Jay, you surely will know. And I suggest you tap in and tune in.
All right, work. So let's get into some music. I got your single that actually did some good numbers in the past year. Line them up. I'm going to hit them with that first.
Yeah,
Then we'll get into some other stuff, some J. Cole, some King Mez, I don't know, some good stuff, some good local stuff.
And we gotta get into it. We gotta, if that day to come, man, we gotta do day to come as well. But right now, that line them up, and this right here, Fire, is something different. Shout out to Brashiest Monk. He's on the production on this one.
Homie on that one.
You already know. It's just something different to vibe to, man. I'm guarantee y'all gonna like it. We're gonna line them up.
All right, it's WKNC Local Rap Lunch. Got Madison Jay on the boards with me. DJ Iron Mike, let's go.
Much flavor, can't call the swag. 919, where you get that bag. This is what we came to do.
What's going on, everybody? You're on listening to Local Rap Lunch. Man, my tongue got tied. You're just listening to Zenso Fly with Like That. Before that, J. Cole with ATM. And before that, I do Madison Jay with Line 'em Up. I got Madison Jay in the studio with me. We've been chilling, talking about a lot about music stuff, local music stuff, national music stuff out here, if you're just tuning in. So, yeah, we were just talking about off the air about North Carolina's music scene,
Right.
and how it moves and everything, and how there's just really space for anyone to do their thing. What do you think is like the next move for
The next move, honestly, I think is gonna be a whole bunch of cats basically are going to. I'm gonna try to put it in historical reference. Like you had the Kentucky when John Boogie and all those cats were at Kentucky, right? You had that strong 4 or 5 core. Then basically they get drafted, all right, but they still got the tie of Kentucky, you know what I'm saying? But then they each went to a different NBA team and did work. So basically you're about to get a whole bunch of cats now that's about to get drafted. It's not going to be just one superstar. Like, I think that's what a lot of cats get trapped. Like, oh, this cat about to be the dude who blow, and nah, it ain't going to be that, because it's divided. But at the end of the day, it's just way more than just one person about to, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day. It's going to take a whole army or just a whole solid group of artists, you know what I mean, whether working together or just moving, you know what I mean, and strength. They going to get on, whatever that situation be, quote unquote, get on, and then it's just going to open the floodgates. I think it's just going to open the floodgates, because we getting your Mezzes, you're getting your DaBabies, you're getting your Rhapsodies, you know what I mean, Cole, you know what I mean, Ninth. You're getting these people who already have kicked down little chips of the door. Now it's just going to be now more kicks to the door, and the whole joint is coming down. So I think that's just kind of, we in a renaissance period right now, because now you're getting ready to just, a lot of cats, they already are now. They popping up, they working, and it's just creating more momentum for the state, just to make sure that we really on that bar to be heard.
And so where do you see yourself in that whole picture? Because I know you have a very good independent hustle. So are you trying to do it independently, or are you trying to get signed?
Indie at the forefront, because my whole thing is just break it down, you know what I mean, build the brand up, and then help others, you know what I mean, and put them in positions to eat as well. That's just really how the whole culture is going, you know what I mean, sustain and be afloat. And like I said, I'm at the forefront, you know what I mean, and I've been at the forefront, you know, just applying pressure and putting in work. So it's just kind of a spot that I've earned at the end of the day. But I'm not going to be one of the cats who like just, you know, who going to be gluttonous about it. It's like, nah, once I get on, like my hand is going back just like a relay, you know what I mean? It's going back, and I'm bringing on, you know what I mean? And I'm putting people in positions to put their people, you know what I mean, in positions, and so on and so forth. Like I said, that's the only way that the scene is really going to come up, if it's just a continuous cycle of people putting people on. So you say, you know, I agree with you that there's probably going to be not even probably, there's going to be another wave. Oh, yeah.
That, you know, we kind of saw back when Lil Brother was popping.
Right.
But I feel like, what do you think? I have my own opinions on it, but what do you think the difference would be this time rather than last time? Because you've been around here for a while. There was a lot of animosity and people felt like they got left behind and stuff like that. In a small city like this, in a big small city like this, honestly, what do you think would be the difference?
It's going to be more game. More game has been learned since when you had that wave popping off. And even with I think it was a little small wave a few years ago, with some artists coming from, you know what I mean, coming from the state, coming from around the way that were doing their thing. But it's more game. Like, you got people who are more in tune with the indie side now. You got cats who are like really putting those numbers behind themselves and doing their due diligence, learning about really being their own entities, their own bosses. So I think that's what's going to be the change. Now you had, as opposed to cats who are kind of like trying to be artists and be found, now you got movements and actual businessmen now who are coming to the table, and they're bringing the business ethics, and they're bringing the whole brand, such as myself as well. They're bringing that whole, you know, the overall scope to it. Not just, hey, I'm a hungry artist trying to eat. Nah, I got a business. I got merch. I throw my own shows. You know, basically, you know, when we come into the labels now, it's more, what can you do for us? Because this is the work that we put in so far. So I think that'll probably be the difference. Is just more knowledge now.
Right.
And you know, after this wave is done and the next that's the same thing. They're going to be able to say, hey, we got more knowledge than what the ones before us came, because that's just how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be each one teach one. So, you know.
I think another big difference too is like, you know, back when like Lil Brother and them were coming up,
right?
Labels like were the end all be all for the music industry, and now it's a lot more independent.
Right now,
pretty much all independent. You have 6ix9ine, whether love him or hate him, was nobody, you know, and now he's like on Billboard every month,
right?
You know, all off of just putting stuff on SoundCloud.
Yeah,
and like one of my biggest criticisms in this scene was always kind of like how like there's always been so much talent,
right?
But there's never been like a knowledge, not never, but like business sense has kind of been lacking. And I noticed that that's been changing a lot lately, which is good to see, because you got people like you know, Beats and Bars. They have like their sessions,
right?
You know, not informational sessions, but you know, education sessions, and AOC does the same thing. You know, so and it's, you know, you know, you don't just rap,
right?
You have a clothing line, too,
right?
You know, which is crazy. So I remember when I found out about that, I was like, oh, this is dope. Like,
come on now,
what's good?
Yeah.
You know?
Got on the county right, you know what I mean? The county right now.
So, you know, as far as like being a businessman, like a local businessman, being a minority businessman,
right?
How do you feel? Like, how do you see yourself kind of like positioning yourself as the years go by?
It's just basically you have to, especially as an independent artist, you have to put your business hat on, tap into that element to see, you know what I mean? Because it goes back to what we were just talking about, you know what I mean, with labels and getting on and stuff like that. You have to put yourself in the position to be put on, like, or to put yourself on, basically. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, it's key as an artist, indie especially, learning the game so that way you're not really misinformed about the business. For me, I'm all about like doing my due diligence and reading, researching, wanting to know more about the business and more in ways of how I can keep myself self-contained. You know what I mean? Whether it's learning how to do graphics, whether it's be learning how to mix and master and record myself. It's just, you know, so that way you can help others as well and spread that knowledge on. So as a businessman, it's just something that it's funny because it wasn't embedded in me. It's just something that had to acquire to do, because it was a position of either sink or swim. Either you learn the game and thrive, or either you become a victim of the game. And I just know for myself, I can't be a victim. So it's just, for me, being a businessman is very key, and that's just something that every day, even outside of my artistry, that I'm always striving to perfect.
That's what's up. And like one of the things that worries me about hip hop culture is just the fact that it's become pop culture.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's the most listened to genre of all the genres. It's surpassed rock at this point. And one of my fears is that it would get whitewashed, and not on some like, you know, racist stuff. Right. But whitewashed in the sense that now it's like, because, you know, we're in a place now where it's so independent. You can do your thing independently, where our people are kind of like behind the curve, as far as like knowing how to set up your LLC, do your publishing and all that kind of stuff. What do you think needs to happen to, you know, keep hip hop with the people as opposed to becoming, you know, something for someone else?
It's funny. That's a funny conversation, because I'm actually like, on one side I'm like, yo, I think it's a blessing to have the culture, you know what I mean, at the forefront of, you know, culture, pop culture, because it's kind of like you work to do something and it gets its, you know, it shine, it gets its time, you know what I mean, to really thrive and do what it does after being kind of in the dirt and hidden away, and, you know, kind of like, all right, now that, you know, hip hop is kind of at a forefront, well, not at kinda, it is at the forefront. It's like, all right, so I think more or less the question should be, how do we keep hip hop pure now that the fact, or quote unquote pure, now that it's at the forefront of pop culture? And it's just basically, I think, the gatekeepers. You know what I mean? The you don't have, you know, people just running throughout your house. You kind of got like regulations of who comes in and out your house. And I think it's the same thing that needs to be, you know, to the culture, just because you have to maintain certain standards, certain codes, and certain ethics.
I agree with that. But then on the other hand, like, you know, you have like this whole, separation of like the young cats,
Right.
who are so like disrespect. Like one of the things, you see in hip hop, that you don't see in any other genre is like young cats disrespecting the old cats and stuff. And it's like, I get where both sides are coming from. You
Right.
know what I mean? Because I'm like in that weird realm.
Right.
I'm 30, so I'm not quite old, but I'm not quite young.
Right.
So I see where both of them are coming from. But it's like, hip hop does need to change to stay relevant.
Right.
And
Gotta
the culture
evolve.
needs to,
Gotta evolve.
Yeah. But at the same time, you got some people in the game right now that are getting so much attention. It's like, why? Like you're causing problems. So how do you feel about coming up with a balance?
It's always going to be a generational gap, no matter what. I think I think that's just kind of throughout history has shown us that, the young versus the old has always been like the narrative.
Yeah.
What it is, though, it's the bridging of the gap. It's the bridging of the gap that brings those things together and how they basically go from one to the other. Once that bridge has been, burnt or been kind of, scattered or whatever, then that's where you get those real problems from. Because, again, at the end of the day, you're always going to have some type of conflict between the old and the new. That's just natural because it's just kind of like, hey, the young wants the spot of the old doesn't want to give up the spot to the young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's just all about coming to a meeting, coming to a median. You know what I mean? A middle point of where common ground can be, found at. And then you have those instances. Yeah, you got your, you got your clowns out there from the younger generation who show no respect. But then you also have young cats who have been, they got home training when it comes to this thing, when it comes to this game, and they know. I'm giving respect to the OGs. I'm giving respect to, the big homies that came before me. Hey, respectfully, without, stepping on toes or anything like that. But it's just all about just having that conversation, man. It's everything I think just kind of just boils to having a conversation. So that way you can be like, hey, this is why I feel this way. What can we do to get past it? The other side can say, hey, this is how I feel. This is how we can get past it. And then after that, you come to that balance.
Yeah.
But it's just all about, the both sides have to be willing to seek that balance. Because at the end of the day, you can't have one without the other. You can't have the young without the old, and you can't have the old without the young.
Exactly.
Well, without the new. So, it's just key at the end of the day. It's just all about that balance, man.
I agree. And then also the major part of it is like good music is going to be good music.
Right. At the end of the day, regardless.
Back like in the 2000s, everyone was wilding out because like music in the 2000s got pretty ridiculous
Right.
in some way too. But the stuff that was hot in the 2000s that still is hot now is good music at the end of the day. Same thing with the 90s.
Right.
Was being made now. So, making good music and, being about your craft
Right.
is what it's all about.
Just like now. It's funny. I was reading, I was on Hip Hop DX and they were talking about, Murs had a joint. But basically, long story short, he was just saying about classics, body of works, about how, comparing classics from now until then. And just the point that you were just talking about, at the end of the day, it's some crazy quality music that's come out of this realm, this generations. And again, it's just, acknowledging that, like at the end of the day, the 90s are my favorite era. But that's not the end all be all of music. You know what I mean? You still had the joints coming out in the 80s. You still had that 2000. You still have the new 2010. And here we are getting ready to go to 2020.
Yeah.
The quality still exists. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't just disappear just because it went into one era from another. It's like, nah, it just went into another form, another variation. So you got artists who are really like they're cooking out here. They're putting out like stuff I feel like could even trump stuff from back in, in the forgotten eras and stuff like that, man. So it's a beautiful thing to see, especially when something quality comes out. You know what I mean? And I got to do a plug. Return of the Gap. You know what I mean? Return of the Gap, man. The debut album, I promise you. It's on Bandcamp. It's on iTunes. It's on Tidal. It's on Spotify. All streaming platforms. But that is literally, and I put this on my life. That is a quality body of work. From track 1 all the way down to track 16, it is a quality body of work. No track was just, hey, this is a filler track. No, each track means something, and I'm literally giving you my life story. So when you check out bodies of work like that, and people are putting their soul and their essences into this stuff, man, you can't tell me that like that the culture is like lost or is gone or people aren't upholding, you know what I mean, the standard, because they are.
So I was gonna ask, like, you know, I think every artist wants to make timeless work.
Some of them don't.
Do you know what? I'll take that back. Because I think there are definitely some people out there.
Some of them don't.
Okay, if that's the difference between an artist, though.
Yeah, that is.
And just, you know.
Just somebody who's out here.
Someone who's out there just doing whatever. Exactly.
Taking all the rap man's air, man. You breathing all the rap man's air, man. That trash out of here, man.
For real, man. So, I mean, what steps do you take to make sure that you're making something timeless when you get in that booth?
100% of me into it. I'm not going off of what's on the gram. I'm not going off of what's popping on this blog. I'm not going off of what's in this magazine. I'm not going off of what this art. I'm going off of what 100% Madison Jay, what he wants to do. Because at the end of the day, that speaks. And it doesn't keep anything timely or dated. You know what I mean? It's just it's raw. This is something that's going to be able to stand the test of time. So when I go in and I cook, I make sure my ingredients are literally not from anybody else's kitchen. They come from my kitchen
No
and my
GMOs,
kitchen. We don't need any of that.
None of that fake stuff.
None of that. We
no
don't need
pesticides, no antibiotics.
No, none of it. None of it. You know what I mean? So I think that's just really, artists have to go give themselves their all into these projects, because at the end of the day, this is this is all you got. This is all you got, and you speak through the music. You know what I mean? Not unless you just write, you know what I mean? You're writing books and stuff like that. But this is you giving yourself to the people. So if you're not really giving your all, you're going to be able to tell, because the music is just going to fall flat. Right. But then you got bodies of work that just stand the test of time, like Return to the Gap. You know what I mean? That stand that test of time. You can listen to them 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now and be like, yo, this sound like this came out today.
Exactly. And, and also just, it doesn't happen overnight.
It doesn't. Not too many things happen overnight.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Not too many things happen overnight, especially greatness. Greatness does not happen overnight. It is, it takes time.
But it's a beautiful thing when it does happen. Because it does seem to happen. Great example for that. I've been trying to perfect this certain scratch for years. Like I've just never, I don't know, either just like I was in my own head, couldn't do it. And I was up at night. It was like 4:00 in the morning, and I just was like, you know what, screw it. I wasn't even on my decks or anything. I was just like watching Netflix or something. I was like, let me get up and I'm being lazy right now. Let me practice some stuff. Up. And then just boom, did it. And that's something I've been DJing for a hot minute.
Right.
And I got it. And then did it again, got comfortable, did it at shows. Now, you know what I mean?
Right.
When that happens, it's a beautiful thing, So, I mean, I think a lot of people that are starting out, you can attest to this. You're a vet at this.
Right.
You're not gonna make a timeless work of art your first go. You're not gonna get a bunch of beats from your homie and make it Illmatic.
Not your first, literally, not your first go in terms of all right, I just started rapping last week and I'm ready to start getting beats for the mixtape. Nah, it's not gonna be it's gonna take time. You know what I mean? It's going to take time. Even with, he came out the GOAT Nas. He came out swinging, but it's because he had time to curate and get that right. Working with Large Pro, MC Search, working with the OGs before him, and then he was able to come with Illmatic and knock it out the park. But it won't like the first time he recorded it was Illmatic. Yeah. Oh no, that is sadly mistaken.
Well, and that's like the story of how how New York State of Mind was recorded.
I believe that story. I believe
it, but I also believe that there were a ton of hours put in front of a mirror at home.
Oh, of course.
Before he even stepped into that booth.
I don't think I definitely know. I can't say that he is the GOAT, but I can't say that he freestyled. But it was more like, okay, I'm a freestyle. Which verse can I?
I
got 10 verses.
Yeah, exactly.
This one, let me get it,
exactly.
Mind you, and I don't know how I'm gonna really start it because I don't know but yeah.
But yeah, it's all good, man. And it's all beautiful. The way I see the way you move. It's very inspirational. I think, at least to me,
right?
And I would assume everyone else is trying to do the same thing. getting out there, getting away from this market and doing your own thing, spreading your.
That's what it boils down to. At the end of the day, I'm not even gonna lie to you, man, because I don't got a lot of ego. At the end of the day, I'm inspired by a lot of people as well. You know what I mean? I strive by each one, teach one. It's all about that. Like, at the end of the day, I want my energy to inspire somebody else to go and be great, because I'm out here trying to be great. So if I can inspire someone to go and be great as well, why would I not want that? So at the end of the day, that's just what I'm really all about, is like, I'm going to go and be great. You know what I mean? I'm out here trying to strive and prosper, and that's what I'm going to do. But if the example that I'm doing, if I'm setting, is going to inspire the next man, why would I not want that? You feel me?
Absolutely. So we're actually, believe it or not, almost out of time.
Come on now.
I mean, time flies.
It do.
But so just let the people know, like, what do you got going on coming into the new year and all that.
Basically, I'm already in a 2019 state of mind.
Good.
Like I said, it's Madison Jay. Tap into me on the social media. I'm at the Madison Jay, Jay on all platforms. You already know, Line 'Em Up. That is the single. You can stream that on all your, your digital platforms. My Day to Come, which for those who are consistent listeners of WKNC up here at 88.1, that gets a lot of burn, a lot of love. So y'all just keep, keep requesting it, keep listening to it, keep streaming it. Return to the Gap, the debut album, is online right now. For those who saw me at the State Fair, just smashed that, killed that. We getting ready to hit the road now, so definitely reach out to me on the social.
Where you going on the road?
Well, probably getting ready to really probably touch, like I said, probably be going
Texas.
going out west, going out west soon. That'll be in the works. Be touching Georgia again, South Carolina. Actually getting ready to plan to go to New York.
Nice.
Very soon.
Yeah,
So
aren't you doing SOBs?
not
something like-
it's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming.
Nice.
That's definitely gonna be we speaking that to existence at the end of the day.
Okay.
I
I don't know who I heard.
It's
Maybe
coming.
someone else is going to SOBs.
Hey man, maybe your brain is your brain knows
I'm
something
just putting out those vibes to the promoters
hey
at
man,
SOBs.
that's what
if
it's
y'all
all
listening.
about. That's what it's all about. But yeah, man, y'all tap in and tune in with me, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, just out here working. Also got the Roll On, featuring Zips. That's the single that's been buzzing right now, real heavy. That's a whole nother energy right there. Y'all check that out as well. At the end of the day, man, it's County. I'm working. You already know who it is. It's Wake County's finest, king of the state. You already know. Tap in and tune in with me, man.
And let them know where they can find you on social media.
Like I said, you can hit me up on all the social media platforms at the Madison, MADISONJAY. I'm all on the gram. I'm all on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I got videos galore. Literally, you can have a whole.
You really do.
Yeah, you can get a whole YouTube and chill and watch, the whole channel, literally for the whole day. Yeah, man, you already know, man. Like I said, Line 'Em Up, My Day to Come. That's what we on right now.
And
New
that's what
single coming soon, too.
All right, that's what's up, man. That's what I'm going to leave y'all with. We're going to play My Day to Come coming out of here. But Madison Jay, thank you for coming up, bro.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for having me, bro. You already know, bro.
Absolutely. You got to do it again sometime. And if you liked what you heard, you can always tune in again next week on WKNC 88.1 FM. You can also check us out on Twitter and Instagram at WKNC 881. I'm DJ Iron Mike. You can get me on Instagram. I'm mostly on Instagram. I don't really mess with Twitter and stuff, man. But you can get me at Real Iron Mike at on Instagram and all that. And again, thank you for listening, whether it's over the radio waves or the NC State Student Media app. And we will see y'all next week. Here's My Day to Come by Madison Jay.